Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, is challenging the 19 presidential candidates announced by INEC for the 2027 election to publicly disclose their assets and liabilities ahead of the polls. SERAP wants the candidates to go beyond the minimum legal requirements by voluntarily revealing significant assets, legitimate sources of wealth, and, where applicable, relevant declarations involving their spouses and minor children. The organization is also asking the candidates to publicly reject vote buying and electoral bribery and to commit their campaign organizations and supporters to transparent and accountable elections. SERAP acknowledges that the Constitution does not expressly require presidential candidates to publish their assets declaration before an election. However, it argues that voters deserve enough information to scrutinize the financial interests and integrity of those seeking control of the nation's resources. Joining us as we discuss this is Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center and the Chairman of the Board of Amnesty International Nigeria, Auwal Musa Rafsanjani. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Mr. Rafsanjani, are you here with us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, great. Thank you for being here. So SERAP is asking all 19 presidential candidates to publicly disclose their assets and liabilities before the 2027 election. While we recognize that this is not a constitutional requirement, how legitimate is this demand for transparency?
Well, I think, as you all know, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria demands that public officials, they declare their asset, and not only that they declare their asset, they should do that periodically. And in other places where they take accountability very serious, you see them even putting it in their website. If you check some other countries, you see leaders, public officials, they put their asset so that their citizens can see what they have. Sadly, in Nigeria, despite the constitutional requirements, many public officials, they don't bother to declare their asset, and what they do in some cases is to do anticipatory declaration, meaning you have 10 houses and you will declare that you have 50 houses, or you have maybe 10 million, and then you declare you have billions. We have seen this happens many a times in Nigeria because there's no proper investigation and confirmation from Code of Conduct Bureau or other relevant organs that are supposed to at least acknowledge that. So the calls that SERAP has made, it is in line with our constitutional provision, which is basically to remind public officials to do that. But I think additional request that SERAP has done is basically to help ensure that it help the candidate to boost the confidence of the electorate on, on their assets, so that, the citizens can actually monitor their asset and then be able to confirm whether ill-gotten wealth had accrued. And then it also, it will also have really even the politicians themselves to prove that they have not, stolen public wealth. I think there are a lot of value, or advantage in terms of this demand, because it will really help citizens to know exactly what their leaders are having, and it will also discourage the use of public funds for illicit enrichment, as we have seen many public officials, when they go into government, what they do, they acquire or they accumulate public resources, converting it to their own personal uses. So I think, really, the demands that SERAP has done, it will help to expand accountability, transparency in public office and governance generally. And it is in the interest of Nigeria, given the kind of momentum looting that is going on in the country from some public official, that we actually demand full-scale disclosure of public officials.
Yeah. Nigeria is going through an unprecedented phase in its nationhood. We're dealing with insecurity and poverty at alarming levels. And oftentimes when campaign season starts, it's almost like a musical jamboree, and the conversation is not elevated. As someone who's observed elections in the past, what level of scrutiny should we be giving to this presidential candidates as they approach Nigerians for their votes? What sort of questions should we be asking, and how do we elevate the quality of interrogation of this candidate ahead of 2027?
Ideally, in a normal democracy, political parties, especially when we are having a multi-party democracy, political parties, ideally, they should have manifesto and they should run their election or campaign based on their manifesto. Their candidates are supposed to run their campaign on the basis of the manifesto that their party has. But because now in Nigeria, you see that people are just buying elective position. They use dirty money to secure victory. They use dirty money even from the party primary to more of like buy that, party primary election, not on the basis of competence, not on the basis of competence, not on the basis of track record, not on the basis of capacity, not on the basis of how articulated your vision based on your party manifesto is, but based on the fact that you have dirty money to buy up everyone, especially public institutions like INEC, like judiciary and security. This is what you see. People who did not deserve to be in public offices, they use the dirty money to do, not because they have public support. And where you have some public support, it is conditioned based on the poverty they entrench on people. So they will give you 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira, and buy drugs, buy, all sorts of arms to go and attack one another. This is the kind of scenario you will see, unfortunately, when it comes to election, whether it is the presidential election, whether it is the other category of election, not on the basis of what a president or what the party of a particular presidential candidate can do to the nation, which is really particularly address the issues of insecurity, issues of poverty, issues of quality education, quality healthcare system, creating enabling environment for businesses to strive, creating, in fact, actually helping to redeem the integrity and the image of the country. As you know very well, Nigeria's image is terribly bad out there. People don't respect Nigerians. People don't respect Nigeria because of the irresponsible behavior and character of some public officials, as well as some citizens that are not also being responsible. So part of what is expected of a presidential candidate is to lay how your foreign policy will have to market Nigeria better, reposition Nigeria better in the community of nations. Part of what a presidential candidate should be of concern is to ensure that the safety and security of the country is guaranteed based on even our constitution. But you can see that many of the candidates, it is not that much priority. So you just sometimes wonder, what is this desperation that, some people want to be president or want to be governor when they have no clear articulation on issues that are affecting Nigerians, that are also desperately needed in order to address the gaps in our governance in Nigeria. So for me, a presidential candidate should have come up with, well articulated, based on their party manifesto, positions on how they can make the economy better, industrialize the economy, how they can even make, not only improve the safety and security, but also even provide or manufacture arms that we needed to keep the country from internal and external aggression. See what is going on now all over the world. Some countries that are serious, they've been manufacturing weapons. They are not being so-called fraudulent of buying arms that never even reach Nigeria, because the amount of money we, trying to buy arms in the last 15 years, if truly we are getting delivery of those arms, I believe that Nigerian security will not be lacking the required arms and ammunition that they can fight terrorism, fight insecurity in Nigeria. But because of corruption in the procurement in defense, we are not able to do that. And of the presidential candidate is also bringing out all these things to tell the public, or to tell Nigerian voters, look, if you vote for me, this is what I will do. Okay. They are running away from accountability, because making that commitment is actually empowering the citizens to demand for accountability by the time you get in there. But because they don't want accountability,
yeah, I mean, these are very key points that you've mentioned, and I think these points will go a long way to redefine how Nigerians would like to see their leaders in the future, be accountable for once at least, and that's a great thing that SERAP has equally done. But unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, especially on this topic. And we look forward to bring you back so we can discuss further on the future as elections are indeed edging closer. Thanks for your time on a Monday morning. Thank you.